Hi, everybody. It's Fred again. One of the biggest things in college today is learning the proper ways to study for a test. Now, this is extremely beneficial to me because being a new student after being out of school for over 25 years, I've lost, obviously, my techniques to study. Now, some of us newer students were blessed to have taken an on-course class when we first started the college. Either way, I feel we can benefit from this information. One of the places we can start looking on tips to study is on the internet. Since I find this topic so important, I would like to go over a few of these steps with you. First, this is the most important, and I know from personal experience, is choose a quiet place to study. This is very important, and I'd like to tell you why. I have a very busy household with 6 children at home. There is always somebody yelling, somebody crying, the younger ones running around. And for argument's sake, let's just say my house remains chaotic. There have been times I've been going through material for a class, and I have had to repeatedly read the paragraph over and over because of everything going on around me. So if you're like me and you cannot get silence at home, there are plenty of places at the college where you can get silence to help focus on your studying. My personal spot is at Lessinger Hall. They have a lounge in the back, and in the evening times, it's real quiet. And it's also a school atmosphere, so it helps me when it comes to remembering on the day of tests. Next, this is important. Set a specific time to study. Now, when we set this time, we need to stick to it. Because a lot of us will say, oh, I need to study, but I can get to it later. No, if we set that time to study, we need to study. Like for me, if I have to study at home, I have to make sure I study after 8:30 in the evening because that's the time my kids go to bed. This also benefits me because a lot of sites suggest either for the best memory is to study first thing in the morning or right before bed. I would not recommend saying, okay, well, they said right before bed, so let's study it at 11, 12 o'clock at night. Because I have done this plenty of times myself where I've sat there trying to read a book or trying to study and my eyes are kind of nodding off. I'm not going to remember that because I'm not being able to give it my 100% attention. So when we say before bed, I mean reading when you're wide awake still and able to focus, but you know you're going to bed soon, so you're not going to have anything in it. That's going to be the last thought you go to before you go to sleep. Next, we like to make sure we're prepared to study. Now, this means, obviously, that if we're going to college, we don't forget our books, our notes, flashcards if we use them, pens to write down with, whatever else you would need. For me personally, I always keep my stuff in my backpack so I can grab it and go. I always know I have it in there. I don't have to turn around and go, oh, I got to grab this from here, grab this from there, because I'm organized, because all that stuff is in there, and I know it, and I can go. Another thing they say that helps studying for tests is reading the material slowly before and after class. Now, I've heard this a lot, and I think it's very good if you actually think about it. If you read your material slowly, I believe it creates a better understanding, and your brain's actually visually picturing what's going on, so it's going to help remembering it. Also, when you're repeating it, like before and after class, they say that why it's better to reread stuff right afterwards because it helps with our memory process. It will help us retain that memory better. So The reading before class, right before class, and right after class is very beneficial. On another personal thing I'd like to do is I like to take a half an hour, 45 minutes before the test and just review real quick. This is not saying that this is the only thing I do. This is in addition to everything that we are doing, is just to say, okay, well, let me look at this stuff, refresh myself. Okay, I got this. I'm going to do this. It kind of helps with anxiety because you're not stressed as much when you take the test. And we all know if we're anxious when we're taking a test, we tend to mess up a little more. Now, I know there are plenty of other tips that we can go over, but I felt these ones were important to us. So just to go over the basics so we can learn to incorporate these into our daily schedules before we add more. Also, if some of these don't work for you, just don't give up on studying at all. Look for ones that work for you. Because, after all, what we're doing this is to be successful. Well, at least I know that's why I'm here. How about you?